What's up guys, it's TheGearChange here back with another video, and today I'm going to be doing part 2 of a Q&A. I had some of you guys send some questions through via Instagram as well as YouTube, and I just thought I'd answer the questions you guys have about myself, the car, the channel, and things like that. I also wanted to thank you guys for helping me reach 3,000 watch hours. With that, I've been able to apply for the YouTube partner program, and this morning I got an email saying that I am in, which is really awesome. It's been a couple years in the making to sort of get there, but I'm proud to say that I'm, I guess, a part of it now. So yeah, and I also wanted to let you guys know that the website is up and running. It took a little bit to sort of organize it all, design everything I wanted, but I have some keychains available and some other cool merch. I've got various different sizes of t-shirts, jumpers are on the way, and then I've got air fresheners being made, and I've got stickers in stock here at home. So trying to get everything sort of organized. It's been a busy week, 2 weeks, just sort of, yeah, organizing everything for the channel. And with the car, I do have some cool parts on the way for it soon. I'm not going to reveal anything, but yeah, some really cool stuff is on the way, as well as videos. Yeah, I'm looking at doing car reviews. Just have to kind of pick a few cars and see how it goes. It's a different type of content to what I usually do, but I'm excited to kind of expand what I'm doing here. So yeah, we'll get to the video. Alright, so I'm not going to go in any particular order. I have a variety of questions. Some of you guys asked more than one, so I guess I'll try and keep the order sort of mixed up and varied. The first question comes from Thomas, and it is, how much horsepower does my XR5 have? Now, it's hard to kind of say, because I guess I'm running Dream Science Mod X, which is a really good tune, and from what I've looked up on dyno sheets and sort of specs, it's meant to have supposedly around 300 or 320 horsepower and 460, I think, or 470 newton meters of torque. Now, I don't know if it's that much. I've kind of gotten used to it now compared to what it was when it was stock, so it's kind of hard for me to go, yeah, it's this much or that much. I've kind of gotten used to the power and the delivery it has, but I'd say around possibly maybe more like 290 or so. I still have to get obviously an AirTech plenum and a few other bits and pieces to sort of maximize the power, and then injectors if I want to go to XRS, but I'm gonna say I'm closing in on 300 horsepower, which is about the sort of range I want to be at with this car, where it's fun, reliable, and still, you know, daily usable power. So the next question here is from Will, and Will has said, is the XR5 actually P-plate legal in Queensland? Because when I go on car sales, it says it's not. Now, that's a bit of a tricky one. I guess it depends on, from my knowledge, the year, model, and I think the date it was made. This is a March 2010 build, and I double checked with car sales and TMR, so Transport Main Roads, when I bought the car to make sure that it was P-plate legal. To my knowledge, the pre-facelift, so the older model, which is 2007, and I think the facelift came out in mid-2008, which is I think the same shape as what my dad's was. Yeah, something like that. I believe it's got something to do with the weight. It's something really stupid. And apparently you need a exemption, so obviously it exceeds the power to weight ratio. I don't know if it's outdated. I don't know how car sales or TMR or whoever's doing it all with power to weight for these cars runs it, but when I purchased this in its complete stock form, it was pretty much just under. I think the limit is 164 kilowatts per ton, something like that. You guys can correct me in the comments if I am wrong. It's somewhere around there. And this was just under, so it was just P-plate legal in its complete stock form. So you basically have to look around. Your best bet would be to go for a 2010 model from, I guess, March onwards, and try and find one with lowish Ks, and you should be sweet. But again, make sure you check with car sales and also TMR. If you have the rego of the XR5 that you're looking at, you can always ask them and say, hey, go through your database and double check that it's P-plate legal, because you obviously don't want to purchase one of these cars and be told that you need to get an exemption. But if you do need an exemption, the best person to go to would be Jamie at OEM Denied. I've heard he helps out with exemptions. I think you need to like contact Ford. I don't think it's too tricky of a process, but it's not as easy as just, you know, simply buying the car and then just going, hey, I can drive it on my P's, easy as that. So it is a little bit tricky, but it shouldn't be too hard. So I guess all I can say is try and find a 2010 model and you should be sweet. Alright, so Cameron has said, I'm looking to buy an XR5 soon. What's an acceptable amount of kilometers when purchasing one? Now, I'm a little bit biased. When I bought this car, it came with, I think, 80 or 81,000 Ks. Now, I wasn't intentionally looking at getting one with super low kilometers, but it's obviously a bonus because, you know, usually, not always, usually the case is that if it's got lower kilometers, it's being treated better, parts haven't worn out as much, and things like that. And I guess it's somewhat the case for mine. The previous owner did get the timing belt and water pump done at the same time, and fresh rotors and pads on the car before I purchased it, so it was obviously roadworthy and all up to date and all the servicing. And it's now got 94,000, but I'd say an acceptable amount would be probably around 100, maybe 150,000. Then again, there's others that have far more than that and they've got no issues at all. So it really depends on how the previous owner has treated the car, what you're willing to pay as well. Again, if they're on the higher end of the kilometers, it's going to be cheaper, but then not always. Sometimes you can find ones at around 100, maybe 150,000 that completely vary in price. Some could be 18,000, they could be asking 20 or maybe 15,000. So I'd say around 100, maybe 150,000 is like a sort of sweet spot. I mean, you may not find ones that are stock, and then you might find some that are modified. It's all up to you on what you want to do. If you want like a complete, you know, base platform and you want it stock as a rock before anyone's done anything, it might cost you more because sometimes the modified ones can be cheaper. It really varies. But yeah, I'd say around 100 to 150,000 is a sweet spot, and then just choose what sort of, I guess, color you want if you can find the color, and try and have, I guess, as little owners as possible helps, and also see if you can find out if it's not being tuned or anything with a Crackle Map, because as you know, Crackle Maps are not very good for these cars. So yeah, around 100,000 or so is probably the sweet spot. I hope I'm pronouncing this right. I believe it's Tukiri. Has said, what's the best modification to do on an XR5 Turbo? Honestly, I'd say, in my opinion, and this is only because I did it first, it would have to be the exhaust. When this was in complete stock form, great car, not like perfect. But the one thing I didn't expect when I had installed it or got it done was the exhaust. Completely changed the car, just how it sounded, and I guess sort of, not necessarily felt, but it felt quicker than what it was with the exhaust. You know, it kind of unleashes all the natural crackles and pops and burbles that it has, even without a tune. Just the exhaust on its own completely transforms the car. So I'd say an exhaust. If it wasn't to be in, like, if it was another option, I'd say probably an intake, because the intake, you get really good intake noise if you've got like a K&N filter or a ram air like I've got. So probably an exhaust or an intake would be, I'd say, the best ones to do first when you get the car. Some can be cheaper than others in terms of exhaust systems and things like that. I'm running a Empire Performance exhaust and it's had no issues with me. It's been perfectly fine. And then you've got others that are like KMS, which are a bit on the sort of higher end range. So all depends on what your budget is, but I'd say an exhaust would be the best modification to do first on an XR5. Alright, so the next question comes from Tom, who probably has one of the cleanest STs or XR5s that I know of for sure. He said, have you ever thought about doing a stance build for the XR5 or another car? The answer is yes. I would love to do a stance build on this car. Focuses, to my knowledge, not many of them are stanced in Australia. I know of a few off the top of my head, but most of them are Mark IIIs. A friend of mine, Gabby, has an XR5 that's on airbag suspension. It looks pretty cool. Yeah, I'd love to do it, but I just don't think it's in my budget. If it was, I definitely would. It'd probably make getting in and out of the driveway easier if I could sort of lift the car up and then while it's parked you sort of lower it down. Yeah, I don't know if it's the right platform to do it with. In terms of future cars, yeah, I reckon I would. I do want to get like an XR6 Turbo or something like that, and maybe do like a slam sort of stance build. I feel like that would be pretty cool, but who knows? You know, you never know. I could do it with the XR5 if all things go well, or time permits, or money permits. But yeah, no, I've definitely thought about it, but as of right now, I'll probably just end up getting some BC Racing coilovers for it, just to sort of have the fitment sit sort of just right. So I'll see how I go, but it's definitely not off the cards. It could potentially happen, but just not for now. So Callum has said, are you going to put on a Crackle Map? The answer to that is no, most likely not. I've considered the idea of getting I think it's the V1 overrun map on my car, but I feel like if I was to do that, I'd definitely have to have the block mod done on the XR5, just as sort of like a peace of mind sort of thing, but who knows. I feel like my car makes enough pops and bangs as it is. I wouldn't mind a little bit more sort of crackle, especially sort of up top or the mid-range, but I don't think I'll be putting a Crackle Map. You know, the goal is to sort of keep this car going as long as I can keep it going and make sure it's well maintained and stuff like that. So I don't think I will, but you never know. I could put it on for a party trick or something like that if I ever want to, but at this stage, not likely. Alright, so I have 3 questions here from Charlie. The first one is, what car would you want to get next? I probably said it in one of the previous answers, probably an XR6 Turbo, or if I ever saved up enough money, an E92 M3 would be the dream car to have at a young age for sure. Just the sound of them, how they look, how they handle as well. Even if you watched on the old Top Gears against like the other sort of competitors at the time, definitely a dream car for me. You know, 4-litre V8 that revs all the way out. Only thing I don't know of is whether I would go with a DCT or if I'd go with the manual, because I love the manual in this car, so I reckon I'd love it in like a Beamer. But at the same time, I don't know, I might not. I feel like some people say the DCT is a lot better, and then others say the manual's better, but I still reckon I'd go with manual, but you never know. You never know. I mean, for daily use, I'd probably prefer the dual clutch transmission, but the manual, just you probably wouldn't be able to beat the fun of it like on like a track day or out and about or just on the road or on the highway. So yeah, probably an XR6 Turbo or an E92 M3. That would be the next car. And you said there, or is the XR5 a forever build? It's very sentimental. That's the thing, I don't know. I really want to keep this car. I think I will. I don't think I will get rid of it. You know, I've put a lot of time, effort and money into it, and I'm still not even finished with my sort of vision for the car. But, you know, I don't have a whole lot of driveway space or my own place yet, so it's a bit kind of tricky to say. But the best outcome would definitely be if I could have this and something like an XR6 Turbo or an E92 M3, but who knows. I'll try my best. I will try my best to hang on to this and get something else as well. That will be the goal, so I'll just have to see how I go over the next couple of years. Alright, so I must have clicked on the same one twice. There's only one more question left from Charlie. It says, what's your end goal for the XR5? Is there an ongoing goal you have for it? I'd say the end goal would be to have better fitment and more power. I'm really happy with how much I've done to it so far. I'd say for an XR5, I've done quite a fair bit. When I first bought the car, I didn't even know there was that much you could do to them, to be quite honest. I just thought I was just going to maybe get my calipers and wheels done and that would be it. And then yeah, I guess I've gone down the rabbit hole of spending money on it, but I don't regret it one bit. It's definitely been worth it. I've met so many amazing people just through this car alone, and the ability to sort of gain the confidence to do videos on YouTube is, you know, greatly being helped by having a car that I'd consider pretty cool, which is this, you know, doing the videos every week, sort of installing mods and stuff like that. So I guess the end goal for it would be to, yeah, have better fitment, just maybe a tad more power, and then maybe some cosmetic things done on the inside and outside until it's sort of just right and where I want it. So not there yet, but hopefully this year, towards the end of the year, I'll be pretty damn close. So I've got another question here from Thomas, and it says, what was the first mod on the XR5? Now, the very first mod I did to it that was, I guess, performance based, if you want to call it that, would have to be the exhaust system. Yeah, the exhaust system was the first thing I did. It was around that time where I think I'd bought the intake or was looking at getting the intake, and Empire Performance, who are based in WA, had a giveaway going, and they said enter, tag some friends, so I thought, why not? I knew they made a system for my car and I wasn't thinking anything of it, and I won the giveaway. So since I'd won the giveaway and I'd saved to myself, I believe it was $200 or $300 I had for a discount, which is pretty big. I had just enough money even after buying the intake to get the exhaust. So when I ordered the exhaust, got here, and that was the first thing I put on before I did the intake, because I obviously didn't have all the tools to do the intake at that time. So I got the exhaust installed by a local shop, and yeah, definitely the best mod that I've probably done to the car, or one of for sure, because it just sounds so good. So yeah, if I was gonna say it was interior, I think it would have been something really basic like LED lights, just for like the interior sort of stuff. But yeah, performance mod, it was definitely the exhaust. So the final question comes from Kushvex, and I hope I pronounced that right. It was, what car would you get if you had to sell the XR5? And honestly, the first thing that comes to mind would be something like a Fiesta ST, or if I had the money, probably like an i30N. But all in all, I don't think you can really get anything as fun as this car here, like 5-cylinder, turbo, front wheel drive, you know, fairly light, 6-speed manual only. It's a really sort of neat little package for a P-plater that's sort of into cars. They sound good, they handle well. Yeah, honestly, and they're not, I wouldn't say they're super affordable, but they're not exactly an expensive car to buy. They are going up slightly in the second-hand market, I've seen with some examples, but you know, all in all, really sick car. But yeah, if I had to get something else, it would definitely be a Fiesta. But that is all from me, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I do have more content on the way. I am looking at getting some more car parts and stuff like that, but you know, the goal in the next however many months and whatnot is to sort of expand the channel from just not me in the car like the XR5. I do want to sort of get into maybe doing car reviews and stuff, as I have mentioned on Instagram, so I need to find some people who are keen to sort of have their car featured on the channel. And then yeah, I've been working on the merch, as I said at the start of the video, so if you guys are interested in any of that sort of merch to support the channel, be sure to check it out in the link below. Even if you guys just want to sort of check out the website and let me know what you think, that would be greatly appreciated. But yeah, be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.